made Kobe Bryant such a huge threat to LeBron James during Kobe Bryant's NBA career and Kobe Bryant's post-basketball career. And I'll also be giving you guys a full rundown of all the reasons that I believe made Kobe Bryant a major target by the league, whose duty is to protect their marketing asset, LeBron James. I will also show you how he exposed many of LeBron James' darkest secrets on and off the court that could have prevented LeBron James from winning another NBA title. Now, let's start all the way back from when LeBron James made the decision to take his talents to South Beach. That following year in 2011, the Los Angeles Lakers pulled off one of the most iconic, game-changing trades in the history of the NBA when they traded for point guard Chris Paul. Now let's keep in mind that Kobe Bryant already stood in LeBron James' way of winning the title, because even if LeBron James were to get past the Orlando Magic and the Boston Celtics in 2009 and 2010, he still wouldn't have been able to get past Kobe Bryant. Now, let's put things into proper perspective. Now that LeBron James was a new member of the Miami Heat, let's take a look at who LeBron James lost to in the NBA Finals in his first season with the Miami Heat. That Miami Heat super team lost to a Dallas Mavericks roster with Dirk Nowitzki, Sean Marion, a past his prime Jason Kidd, and the old Jason Terry, JJ Barea, Caron Butler, Tyson Chandler, and Brendan Haywood. Now let's compare this Mavericks roster to what the Lakers would have looked like had the league not have vetoed this trade. The Lakers would have had Chris Paul, who was 24, going on 25 years old, reaching his prime peak years, who was arguably one of the top point guards at the time. In an article that was written in Bleacher Report in 2010, before that trade was even proposed, it had Chris Paul ranked as the #1 best point guard in the league. And it's funny, it's ironic that it had Mo Williams, who's a former teammate of LeBron James, ranked at number 18. This is a player that LeBron James left. LeBron James minions say he had no help, but the Lakers would have had Chris Paul, the #1 point guard in the league, Kobe Bryant, who was just coming off the momentum of winning his 5th NBA title, and let's say they were still going to trade for Dwight Howard. In the words of Kobe Bryant, the Lakers were set up to win championships for another 3 or 4 years. Now, if the Heat lost to the Dallas Mavericks team, do you really think that Heat would have been able to defeat arguably the 3 top best players in the league at that time? The answer is clearly no. And now you see why the league halted that trade, because ultimately it would have stopped their manufacturer GOAT LeBron James from winning an NBA title. Just think, LeBron James and the Heat the following season would end up defeating a young, inexperienced OKC Thunder team, and then eventually they lost to an old Spurs team who they lost to in LeBron James' final season with the Miami Heat. Now, many people believe that Dan Gilbert and his secret email complaining is what led to that trade being vetoed. But let's be serious. Kobe Bryant's belief was that he believed that the league was trying to create parity with small market teams as to why the league vetoed that trade. But here's why I disagree with the late great Kobe Bryant, because LeBron James left a small market team to join a big market team in Miami. But my estimation is it was simply all done to ensure that their pawn LeBron James had the easiest path and the easiest road to win an NBA title without any interference. Think about it. Why would the league care anything about what Dan Gilbert thought? The Lakers are the biggest market, which means they will generate the most money. You don't think that other superstars would be thrilled to go play with one of the most popular franchises that generates hundreds of millions of dollars? It wasn't about that. It was about making sure that LeBron James had no roadblocks. Little did they know, the Heat were only good enough to pull away with 2 titles with a super team. Now, let's fast forward and analyze why Kobe Bryant became a marked man after he decided to retire and leave the sport of basketball. Now, Kobe Bryant decided that he wanted to get into storytelling and use the media as a vessel to spread his message and give players insight into his mental approach to the game and how he goes about studying his opponents and how much he pays close attention to detail. Now, let's not forget that Kobe Bryant was by far the player that most players look to for inspiration. Kobe Bryant, like 6 years ago, released a short story should go about guarding the greats and how to slow them down, because you can never stop them, you can only slow them down from going on scoring tears opposed to trying to stop them. One of those players so happened to be LeBron James. In that very same episode, Kobe Bryant detailed how obsessive he was, how he dug up LeBron James' childhood, who was his favorite teacher, what was his favorite color. He broke everything down to a science. He revealed LeBron James' habits and all of LeBron James' tendencies. He revealed LeBron James' favorite spots to shoot on the court, and also he revealed LeBron James' go-to moves. Now remember, this short episode of this series was released right after LeBron James had won the title in 2016 and Kevin Durant decided to join the Golden State Warriors. I wouldn't even be surprised if Kobe Bryant played a part in influencing Kevin Durant's decision to join the Golden State Warriors. Ironically, LeBron James lost in the finals twice after that, and he wouldn't reach another NBA finals until Kobe Bryant would pass. But also remember, Kobe Bryant was famous for pointing out truths about LeBron James to the media. He also did so in his book Mamba Mentality, where he revealed a few of LeBron James' weaknesses. So Kobe Bryant would always go on record and give constructive criticism about LeBron James. Like when he said that he's not buying that LeBron James doesn't have any help in LeBron James' final year with the Cavs in 2018 when they were in the championship and they lost. Kobe Bryant was not shy, nor was he ever afraid to critique LeBron James publicly. And that's what I believe made Kobe Bryant a marked